Hi, I'm Adele Fever, and I'm here answering some of the top questions about witches and witchcraft that have come up. I am personally somebody who believes that we're given powers and skills by nature that are super diverse, and people who connect with the idea of that in the long spiritual tradition, and especially for women, these are some of the big questions. So, what does it mean to be a baby witch? A baby witch is a term that's used affectionately to refer to individuals who are new to practicing witchcraft. It's a way of acknowledging that everyone starts out as a beginner, and many people have a sense of being different or having access to an unusual panel of information through the senses from childhood. And when we open up to exploring the rituals and beliefs that could accentuate our inner intuition, it can feel a bit overstimulating and the huge range of traditions that we have access to now. So, if you're open to learning more about your inherent powers and developing yourself to use your extra senses more effectively, but you're kind of careening through ideas of spells, ritual items, patrons, nature worship, huge variety of pagan beliefs. You're in the baby witch stage. How do I start practicing witchcraft? Of course, most of us start by reaching out for information and trying to connect with others. You might begin by researching and exploring various branches of witchcraft. You'll discover books, join online communities, and experiment with simple rituals or spells. The central experience of developing your practice is to learn to trust your intuition and find what resonates with you. So, listen to your body and your nervous system, especially as you try on different private rituals and perhaps find opportunities to experience group work. When you're on your personal track, you'll feel a sense of self trust and also acceptance of others who are on different spiritual paths. And you'll begin to have a sense of which of your tools will work well to deal with the impulses, desires, and instincts that arise in your awareness. What are some essential tools for a beginner witch? Almost everyone starting to play with spiritual practice will find themselves drawn to some of the basic tools that might include a journal, candles, herbs, crystals, maybe a tarot deck or some other divination tool. But remember, no tool is mandatory. Intentions and focus are essential. As you get comfortable carefully observing yourself and deliberately repeating certain sequenced experiences, you'll come to sense what purpose your tools will best serve in your personal practice. Maybe it's easy for you to associate the emotion of joy with the weight, texture, and color of a citrine stone in your collection. Maybe you get a lot of peace about the unpredictable vagaries of life by reflecting on runestones or oracles. Your ability to influence your state of being develops as you invest your magical attention into the pieces of your practice that help you identify and meet your own internal spiritual needs. So, the more you practice, the stronger your associated response will be. If you're using a certain tool or ritual and it weakens in effect, that's okay. Sometimes you grow out of a previous need and it's time to open up a new pathway. Do I need to follow a specific tradition of witchcraft? No, you don't have to follow a specific tradition. The real beauty of witchcraft is how highly personal it is. Even if you like a really structured approach, as practitioners, we each choose to create our own path, drawing inspiration from various traditions. This allows us to tune in to our internal guidance while opening ourselves up to the beautiful variety of life. Realistically, most self identifying witches are cobbling together practices from any spiritual experience that makes sense to them or feels good. When more structured practices emerge or a coven enters into collaboration, that can be really helpful and create accountability and focusing on those shared goals or values. Watch out for any shame or anxiety driven sense of duty from inside or outside yourself. Those are the early warning signs that a practice is becoming unhealthy. How do I cast spells? Casting spells involves setting a clear intention, raising energy, and directing it toward your goal. So, depending on your objective, you may enter a state like prayer, which is about creating possible reality in your mind and asking for that picture to arrive in material reality. Other times, you might be in a more receptive, meditative state, letting yourself open up to many possible pictures. Other times, you might create an internal state of rehearsal, figuring out how to experience the emotion and satisfaction of, say, fulfillment, which invites the external world to organize around your gratitude or bliss. Whether you simply turn inside yourself for inspiration or experiment with spell structures others have developed, you'll know it's a good fit for you when it increases your sense of well being, confidence, and patience acceptance. Start with simple spells, focus on your intent, and use tools that resonate with you. What is the significance of the moon in witchcraft? The moon is considered a powerful influence in magic. Most witches align their spell work with lunar phases, using the waxing moon for growth and the waning moon for banishing or releasing. It's not a requirement, of course, but developing your awareness of the stages of the moon is a really practical way to attune to the cycles of nature. Simply giving that increased attention to the moon helps us feel more connected with the universe, the Earth's gravitational relationship with the moon, and the people who live on the planet and all look up at the same moon together. There are many deep practices and esoteric beliefs that center on the moon. If you follow your inspiration, you could develop a richly personal sense of relating with the moon, the night, the shadow side of existence. How do I create a magical space or altar? An altar is a personal and sacred space for your magical work, and you probably already own several things that would be right at home in your altar space. First of all, you want to choose a location that's specifically dedicated to altar work. The more sacred and separate it feels, the easier it will be for you to maintain that state of magical empowerment that you create there. Include items that hold meaning for you, such as candles, crystals, symbols, representations of the elements. If there are specific prayers or intentions that you're working on in your practice, you're likely to discover small items that feel connected to your concern, and they become relics that can help you hold focus. It may be tempting to put a million little trinkets in your altar space, but for most of us, holding that intentional focus is easiest when we choose priorities and avoid over cluttering our minds and sacred spaces. Can I be a witch if I don't follow a specific religion? Absolutely. Witchcraft is not tied to any specific religion. Many practitioners identify as eclectic witches and draw inspiration from all kinds of different spiritual beliefs. While major religions often imply that this eclectic approach is somehow forbidden, it's actually inevitable to the way that we as humans experience our spirituality. That said, being too scattered out, reaching for new oracles or divinities all the time can decrease the focus that you want to bring to your practice that become more meaningful and effective as you invest in them. So let your values and focus evolve over time as you grow as a person, but bring yourself back to those spiritual experiences that most help you feel connected to yourself. Is there a right or wrong way to practice witchcraft? We are authorized to practice any spiritual path that nourishes our spirit. And that authority comes directly from nature, from our natures. There's no one right way to practice. Witchcraft is highly individual, and what matters most is your intention, respect for others, commitment to learning and growing. Some people are really resistant to spiritual practices of all kinds or feel reactive about certain approaches, but we have so much power to influence ourselves that attempting to influence or control others is comparatively very wasteful. So practice in a way that works the best on your unique nervous system and avoid the temptation to make yourself feel superior by claiming to know what others should do. You're the only one in your body living your life day by day. So respect yourself and respect others from the knowledge that the same is true of them. How can I connect with other witches and the witchcraft community? Unless you're blessed with having easy access to a group of spiritually minded friends or a sweet local coven, striking up your own practice can feel lonely at first. Don't let that discourage you. The work you do alone will always be the foundation of a healthy practice. Of course, you'll eventually feel drawn to amplifying your practice and sharing your experience with others. Joining online forums, social media groups, or attending local meetups and events can help you connect with fellow witches. Remember to approach these communities with respect and an open mind. They may have some lovely insights and opportunities to offer you. Any group of people gathered for any purpose will be a mix of trial and error, pleasant and frustrating. So just remember your ultimate responsibility is to yourself, and learn to stay centered as you explore. That is the top 10 questions that people tend to research, to looking out into their very early witchcraft experimentation. And I welcome any questions or comments from you guys. I'd love to hear back from you. I've got a handful of embodiment exercises that are gradually coming out, longer form videos showing up to really give that like hypnotic meditative guidance through the process of learning what's inside of you, that really developed for anatomy students especially, but they're very easy beginner level terms and kind of refresher for a lot of us that studied body work or some kind of blended spiritual healing practice, perhaps in our past. So it's a great way to refresh for that, and I'd love for you to check those out. I'm wrapped up for today, so thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you again soon.